Give us any chance, we'll take it. Read us any rule, we'll break it. We're gonna make our dreams come true.
Welcome to Night After Night, a podcast about 8 seasons in a row. I'm Lisa Fernandes, and
I'm Chris Jayawardena. Hello.
And we're reviewing Frank's Fling, an episode from season 2 of the show. It was directed by Howard Morris and written by William J. Keenan. I'm sure you get some facts about them, don't you, Chris?
This time I definitely do. So for the writer, William J. Keenan, this was his only credit as writer for the show, but he was an active writer of television in the 1970s, including Land of the Lost, as well as Adam 12, $6 Million Man, things like that. His last credit is a direct-to-video animated King Kong movie called The Mighty Kong from 1998. I looked it up. It looks terrible, but it's amusing because it's the idea that they decided to turn King Kong into a musical with the voice of Ariel as Ann Darrow. And Dudley Moore is Carl Denham.
Okay, that's kind of amazing.
So
that sounds amazing. I've never seen it, but it sounds amazing.
It sounds amazing. Yeah, I gotta track it down. Okay, so director Howard Morris. This one, when I discovered this information, I was really excited to talk about this. So This was the only episode of Laverne and Shirley that he directed, but he had experience as a director on classic television galore, including Andy Griffith, Dick Van Dyke, and Hogan's Heroes. The thing is, though, this guy was kind of more of an actor. He has 147 acting credits on IMDb. He was a regular actor on the Andy Griffith Show. He was a regular on various episodes of the 1980s Scooby-Doo miniseries as the character Bogle. He was on Garfield in the 80s, including, and then also reprised roles that he was in the McDonaldland show as well, which he reprised roles for it in the 2000s before he passed away in 2005. And as well as another humorous connection is he was also featured in Splash, which I'm beginning to wonder, like, if Splash was like a stealth Marshall movie, like it's part of the Marshall verse practically, which would be cool because then that would mean that we could have mermaids with Laverne and Shirley or Happy Days as an idea, which would be great.
Well, aliens and ghosts are canon for both shows.
Okay.
Actually, I think, do ghosts show up in Happy Days? I know ghosts for sure show up in Laverne and Shirley.
Okay.
That's pretty much it when it comes to mythical creatures. Wait. We do get guardian angels in season 6.
Okay.
So that does happen too. So there's some kind of stuff like that going on.
So the big one for Howard Morris, though, he was the voice for the Hanna-Barbera era Archie's Funhouse. He was Jughead Jones.
Oh!
And he played the voice of Jughead Jones for so long that he even reprised the role multiple times, including on Sesame Street in the 1980s.
Things I did not know. That is fabulous.
Yep. But yeah, so he did have other directing credits, obviously, as I mentioned, for other television. But yeah, primarily he was an actor. So way to go, Howard. Hope you're enjoying being noticed wherever you are now.
May you thrive, my friend. May you thrive.
Yeah. And I mean, hey, he was he was in on Cow and Chicken, which I watched as a kid, so.
That's cool. Things I didn't know. I did not know any of this. This is really awesome. Here's what the episode is about. When the girls and the paid Lenny and Squiggy stay behind to clean up the pizza bowl after hours, Frank introduces Laverne and Shirley to his high-class new girlfriend, Veronica Clayton, a southern woman filled with snooty, syrupy sugar, whom he met at a recent convention. A suspicious Laverne instantly loathes Veronica, but she bites her tongue, believing her pop to be happy with the woman, at least until she is invited to the grand reopening of the pizza bowl, reimagined as a fancy restaurant called Chez Pizza, complete with the mood lighting, a dress code, and tinkling piano music. With the revelation that Veronica is taking over the finances, has plans to sell Chez Pizza, disapproves of Laverne's clothing, and is changing Frank's casual relationship with his employees, Laverne vows to remove Veronica from Frank's life. The disgruntled Lenny and Squiggy and the now unemployed Carmine join the girls on Team Get Veronica, and they team up to teach the woman a lesson in snobbery she'll never forget. What do you think of that? What do you think of this episode?
It's interesting. I always feel frustrated by the sort of the new girlfriend, the new person that kind of causes all the chaos in that world. Yeah. It's very TV. The fact that this writer pretty much, mostly did television writing during the 70s kind of shows. But that being said, there's some great character stuff. I love how real it can get at points. Especially with the way that Frank responds to the reacts to the conclusion and the realization of what happened. And that being said, Carmine is a mobster. Finally, I have a reason to like this fucking guy.
I love that was what made you like him. We were watching this episode together for the first time. You said, wow, I like Carmine. I respect him more now that he's got mob connections. I'm like, oh boy, wait till you get later in the series. Wait till we get there. There'll be more. There'll be even more.
It worries me. But it really worries me what it says about me that I appreciate that in fiction, by the way, not in real life. In real life, I would prefer Carmine to be the way he really is. I would just, I would tell him off a lot, but it's a case of that in fiction, he's just such a, I prefer my character. Like, if you're going to be a scumbag, at least, kill people for a living so that I can have some exploitation movie fun with it.
Our ambivalent Carmine feelings. Let us show them to you. I was gonna say he looks alarmingly like Father Guido Sarducci in this outfit.
Yeah. Okay.
He really looks like. Does he not look like Father Guido Sarducci? Just a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. I haven't seen him in a long time, but I just googled it. My God, you are correct. The sunglasses are a little darker, but man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Maybe a tiny skosh of Tony Clifton. A tiny skosh, not a lot, but a skosh.
I mean, hey, at least it's better than oh God, who was the guy? The guy who did Gone with the Pope? Duke Mitchell. It's better than a Duke Mitchell stereotype.
True.
Yeah. I love that you know what I'm talking about when I mentioned Duke Mitchell movies, Massacre Mafia style and Gone with the Pope.
Yep. I've seen it.
So
you don't realize that I know lots of obscure kind of stuff like that. Yeah, I do.
But there's a lot to but that being said, there's lots to love about the episode. There's some great zingers. I love Edna in this episode in particular. She is a delight. Yes. I love the green pants. Laverne's green pants are amazing. Yes. There's so many things to like about this, and the plan that they come up with is hysterical, and the boys' part in it,
Yeah.
Oh boy, it's Squiggy with his hand in the coat, and it's like poking.
Yeah. And then she goes, he's got a gun. Where? Who's got a gun? He realizes his hand's supposed to be the gun. And then Lenny trying to up his cred by smashing a grapefruit in Laverne's face.
Oh my God.
It's like he is in white heat. Top of the world, ma. Top of shots, ma. It's like,
oh my gosh.
Like, the opening scene of this episode is fabulous.
Yes.
The opening scene where the girls have to plug up a keg that refuses to cease its flow, and then the boys come out of the bathroom, and Lenny has a coffee of Peyton Place. And they all sit there and read the dirty parts of Peyton Place together and all get affected. And it's like,
and I love there's even that line. At least they were smart enough to underline the dirty parts.
Dirty parts, yeah. And then the implied mop boner with Lenny. Like, we already saw that. That's obvious. That's the most Freudian symbolic thing ever in the history of the show.
Oh, speaking of which, I love Squiggy when he comes out. He comes out of the ladies' toilet. It's like, the stuff you write on the ladies' room wall, I tell you, I am disgusted.
He's so offended by whatever graffiti is in there. And considering the fact that at that pool hall where they always are, there's a lot of stuff like, if you got boots, you get Bessie.
Right. But that being said, someone did smudge the end of the dirty joke, though. That's the one catch.
Yeah. It's just like, and I love that the girls try to keep reading Peyton Place until Frank arrives, and then Frank's in there. It's like, no, don't let Pop see you reading a dirty book.
Yep. Oh God, I mean, a horrible moment would be if he suddenly blurts out, "Oh, that's why I put that."
Oh God, yeah.
Which, given this episode, wouldn't surprise me.
If the show had taken place or been filmed about 10 to 20 years later, if it was like a 90s era Married with Children kind of thing, yeah, that joke would have been how they capped the scene, because you can picture it going that way.
Yep.
By the way, real quick fun factoid. The role of Al Bundy was actually written with Michael McKean in mind, apparently.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah, according to Michael. According to an interview Michael did, the role was written with him in mind. He turned it down, And then he said, I was glad I turned it down because I can't picture anyone but Ed O'Neill playing that part.
Yeah, Ed was fantastic. Yeah, I mean, it's a case of
Yeah.
I don't like the character that much, to be honest. I never really liked that show. I like the actors in it, but I'm not a fan of the characters in the show. So it's like part of me is thinking I wish Michael had been in it because it would have probably toned things down a little bit, the kind of the jerk qualities.
Yeah.
Because I would, and also just the idea of seeing Katie and Michael on interacting together would be amazing.
Oh God, you're about the third person I've told this anecdote to who has said that. I would love to see them work together. And so would I. At this point, I would love to see them work together. They have never worked together, as far as I can recall. Mm-hmm. It's like I want to see him work with Wendy McGlendon Covey. They were in a movie together, but they didn't shoot any scenes together. And the movie is, yes, it's a movie. That's the movie I showed to you.
Yes.
You never finished. Yes.
The, what is it, 13 rules for sleeping around?
10 rules for sleeping around.
10 rules, sorry.
10?
Yeah. Okay. I get my numbered crappy romantic comedies confused. At least it's not the, what is it, the Pig Theory? Or
oh God,
I can't remember what they retitled. It was the one they shot in Portland with Chris was it Chris Klein and Thora Birch? It's called The Pig. Man. I know people who worked on that movie and they were like so proud of it, and it's like, oh God, no, I'm so sorry, I can't.
I can vaguely remember this movie, and I cannot remember what they were titled it to, but I can remember the movie.
I will look it up for us to talk about it later. But anyway, back on track to the episode. Veronica, the display hostess at a bowling convention.
Yes.
First of all, my note is wait, what?
Yeah.
My second.
I'm guessing that it's her job to like point at the bowling pins, point at balls, and try to make them look classy, kind of like a woman does at a car show. Mm-hmm. Only presumably she was not in a bikini. Yeah, presumably she's not in a bikini like those girls are, because she's too snooty classy to even possibly do that. Her backstory is interesting. She's one of those poison sugar kind of people. Honey, you're so cute. You'd look great if you just lost 5 pounds. That kind of person. You know, she's like you'd be adorable if you weren't wearing that dress kind of person. Mm-hmm. That's who she is.
As soon as she says a woman's touch, I mean, my note here is, oh no, like.
And it's like she is apparently having this physical affair with Frank, and in Frank, she sees this opportunity to basically take him for everything he's worth, and or upgrade him into the kind of man that she wants to date. So
right.
She's kind of shallow in one way, and another way she's kind of calculating, which makes her. She'd be a lot more interesting if she was given a little bit more time to be seasoned. But as is, she is what she is.
Right.
I love it. I love that Laverne instantly recognizes a phony. By the way, of course she would. She would instantly recognize Laverne as a phony.
I mean, you got to figure that she's. Especially with the passing of her mother, she probably got played by a lot of phonies, teachers, neighbors, other gals that were, trying to come on to her dad. I mean, she's dealt with that. And I noticed that, my mother has stories of evil stepmothers and knowing the phonies and knowing when her dad was, with somebody who would just like, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. And it's like, a couple months later, it's like, oh yeah, you're a piece of trash, She never said that. My mom doesn't do that with people. She doesn't say that about people, but
we know what you mean.
These things were not great. Yeah. And so I do notice that type of person seems to come around to it. And it's, you pointed out in the previous episode, came back up in my notes about how, Laverne, on the other hand, she also has like this, she sees the phony and she's also able to recognize it because it does not match up with what she wants her dad to have, Yeah.
Which really sadly resembles what her late mom looked like.
Right.
Which is depressing in its own way.
Yeah.
Stirring the pot of spaghetti, being plump. And in the end, she does not get that for him, but she deals with that. And accepts that the woman that he wants, and she likes her and loves the person too. We're not going to spoil it for y'all, even though probably you guys know what happens.
Don't spoil it for me. I am curious.
And Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there. After her date with Frank, Edna definitely seems a little bit territorial here.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit angry that this woman is making inroads. She's at least part of the driving force behind them all deciding to pretend to be mobsters.
Yep.
Which I thought was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And she's only been out on one date with this dude. And I thought that was, I thought it was interesting that she's, that's perfect for her personality. Absolutely perfect for her personality. Her take charge personality.
Mm-hmm. And, we don't know how the date went. The date was probably great, Yeah. I mean,
we definitely know it has to have gone well, considering.
Yeah. I mean, there's a one of the first things she says when they come into the restaurant. I'm saying this is an example of how probably things went well with Frank and Edna.
Yeah.
And she says, "If I had known it was this dark, I would have come nude. That's my best outfit anyway." And I mean, I love that line, but it's sort of like you would not blurt that out unless you felt comfortable and confident, not just in your appearance, which obviously she does, but you also have the fact that, if Frank overheard that, then that would be Edna sort of saying had a nice time last night, and if things didn't go that far, then that's her sort of saying this well, guess what you missed out on, and so that's very, to me, that's very Edna, Yeah. I will say
Edna,
I was just quickly, sorry to interrupt, just want to make sure I don't forget this note. My note says, Edna's immediate dislike of Veronica gives me life. It gives me life. I love it.
I love Edna so much in general. And when she's fearless, she's bold, she's gutsy. And all of those lines and her reaction to Frank doing what Frank does is perfectly on brand for her. I just love it. Mm-hmm. I love everything about her in this episode. I love that of all things they decided to pretend to be gangsters. Of all things they decided to be mobsters. It's just it's the most random idea I could possibly think of. And I love that that's what drives Veronica. Well, you'll ransom us, won't you, mommy? That kind of thing. And she's like, no. I don't think I want to be your mommy after all. It's once for a life.
Yeah. Gives a Dear Frankie Poo letter.
Yeah, Dear Frankie Poo. And I loved that in the end, Frank kind of embraces Shirley as his daughter in a way. He's done this before. He'll keep doing this. But more and more and more, Shirley becomes his daughter too.
Yeah,
and
that hit me right in the feelings when we got to that.
Yeah. Basically, Shirley is an honorary DeFazio in her own way because her parents are so distant from her. And Frank is always there. As many criticisms as I have for Frank, and many of us might have for Frank, and we will have criticism of Frank, oh boy will we, he is at least constantly present for Laverne and cares about Laverne. And he doesn't want the girls to get hurt, and he doesn't want anything horrible to happen to them. That's his best quality. I love that line where Mary the waitress approaches Frank, and he tries to explain to her, you don't get to be formal, you have to call him Mr. DeFazio now. And she goes, calls him that, and tells him the grease pit's on fire. And he just yells, and all of his attempt at formality just goes out the window as they run to try to put the fire out. I thought that was great.
Oh God, my note here actually about that point, because I'm trying to catch up on my notes sequentially through the episode. Yeah, I beg your pardon, Mr. DeFazio. And my note after that is, after they're married, what? Throw her out. Oh my gosh. Oh, and the pillow. Oh yeah, and then the pillow punching.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. My first note here is, I might edit this out. Oh, hi, Carmine. Are you here for your dick punching? I should
always want to punch poor Carmine in various areas of his body. Here he's not bad. Here he's just fine. He does nothing offensive. He is perfectly good. He's supportive of the girls like he said he'd be supportive of the girls.
Yep. Yeah, that's quite an act, because I mean, given what we are starting to understand about his mob connections, him to impersonate a Mr. Big, even in a small city, that's probably a little risky. That could probably get him into some serious trouble if anybody found out about that. So
we'll find out several things about that as the seasons progress.
Oh dear.
And then that stops being a part of his character completely when we get to California. But Yes.
Also of note, when they were coming up with the plan, the wide shot gives you a pretty prominent perspective of a high sailor pillow on the couch.
Yeah. I love that pillow. All thing I gotta say is I love that pillow. I just love that pillow. I've always wanted a pillow like that. It's like, my ideal house has a high sailor pillow in it, and that's just how it is.
Yeah. No room is complete. No couch is complete without a high sailor pillow. Get yours today for 2 easy installments of $15.99.
Order now. Order now.
Can you tell that I was a 90s kid that watched Nick at Night and had to listen to tons of commercials about 1-800, call this number?
Surely you needed a Billy Bass. Everybody needed a Billy Bass. What are you talking about? I loved the little cracks in that performance, by the way, when they're all trying to keep it together, and none of them can quite entirely commit to it, but it's enough to convince Veronica to moves. I love that.
Yeah, like Frankie's been a bad boy. Spin. Frankie's been a bad boy. Yeah, Lenny can never get his eye line right, and
yeah.
I love that. Get him fitted for cement bowling balls. Oh God, yeah. And Mr. Big, Carmine is Mr. Big. It is absolutely hilarious. You know, we don't rub people out. Hard to collect from dead people. We will take over the business, otherwise known as the Pizza Bowl. Oh my God.
He is damn good in this episode. I must say that he is damn good in this episode.
Yep. So that's the point where it's like, all right, Eddie, could you just go be in some polyester pulp crime movies with like the mafia somewhere, you know, go see what Lee Marvin's up to. See if he needs a heavy to throw around, you know, or see if Al Lettieri needs a sidekick, you know. Instead,
he kind of ended up doing the opposite route. He ended up in a lot of pure flicks kind of movies.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Right. Yeah, the faith-based films and stuff. Yeah.
Yo, he is in the infamous "See Me Dance."
That's right.
Movie
that's right. I saw that when I looked that up.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing in its own way. And he was a regular in a sitcom, a Christian sitcom. So that's an interesting way to kind of go from doing mainstream into doing that kind of entertainment.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting. I realized that. Do you have more notes? More thoughts?
I'm trying to think. I don't really got much of anything else. Let me just double check here. Yeah. I mean, I guess it's just. Oh, okay. One thing I absolutely adore is a small note where she left the note in the till. So when Veronica leaves, she leaves the Dear Frankie Pooh letter in the spot in the till where he keeps the 20s, and she took the 20s, and he goes 120, and he goes like, what do you think I am, stupid? I didn't tell anybody where I keep the money. I didn't even tell your mother where I kept the money. And Laverne immediately looks over and goes, she knew. And it just that was really heartwarming to me.
That was adorable.
You know, and which also kind of means Laverne's probably figured it out, or her mom told her it in case of an emergency kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's just very sweet.
And she never takes advantage of that. She never ever takes advantage of that throughout the show. Even when they're in horrible, dire straits, like when they're forced to taxi dance, she does not go into that till.
Yep. That's just a sign of, you know, Frank did a good job raising her. She's a good kid.
Yeah. She's a good kid. She's a good person.
Yeah.
The show will try to question that sometimes, but she is a good person.
Yeah.
I like it when they emphasize, she's a good person. I love when they emphasize that. Yeah.
I appreciate it too. It's good.
Yeah.
Anywho, so I guess we're down to the rankings. So this one I have, you know, some mixed feelings of some really strong stuff. I'm gonna give this like a 6.5 or a 7, because the stuff that's strong really stood out.
Yeah.
Like as in, if I was to remake the show, there were scenes from this that I would have to put in like if I was to, you know, just to take this narrative and clean it up into a single long form TV series. It's all connective tissue. I would take the opening of this episode for sure. I might take the whole Mr. Big plan, and use that somewhere else. And some of the dialogue and interaction with Edna, you know, for sure. So, I mean, so it's like, I can't say like, you know, I didn't like the episode. It's just it wasn't as, you know, I mean, we were coming off of High Neighbor Book 2. I mean, that's kind of hard to have to follow.
Yeah, it is. It's an okay episode for me, too. This is about a 5.6 to me, 5.9. It's all right. Very strong opening. All the mob stuff is fun. Good follow through and good connective tissue with an understandable plot. But there's no like super hard punch for me. No, this is a classic episode. This is the top of the heap for me. So it's around mid-level. It's not offensive. It's not stellar. It's just good. It's good. It's a good episode, but not great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's still, I guess what it is like, thankfully we haven't reached a point where we say, skip this episode.
We're going to get there.
I'm assuming from that laugh, we'll get there.
Not even in season 8, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
Oh boy. So anyway, excellent. All right. Well, thanks again, everybody, so much for joining us for Night After Night. And if you would like to know more or just get in touch with us, we can be found at Night After Night Pod on Facebook, Tumblr, WordPress, and even Patreon, or at Night After Night PC on Twitter, which is where we're most active right now. But yeah, I think that covers social media. So, Lisa, my dear, what do we have next?
Laverne recalls the last time the Shots workforce went on strike, which caused a fight between her and Shirley that nearly tore their friendship apart. This lonely at the middle.
Cool. So good. I guess we'll get to see some of that union talk that the kids are all talking about.
That crazy union talk, baby.
All right. Excellent. Well, thanks for joining us, everyone, and we hope to see you next time for Lonely in the Middle.
Bye now.